Alright, so if you saw my last video, you know that I was missing a few tools to really get that turbo out. But they came in today and they look great. They should really help get the turbo out without a problem. But anyways, let me show you what I got real quick. Okay, so this is basically what I got. I got some extensions, some wobble extensions. I'll show you that. I've got another set of universal joints, and what we really needed was the universal sockets or flex sockets. And I just got these ones. These are the ones that I already had, and I want to show. I got them out to kind of show you the comparison of why these don't actually work. But anyways, we'll start with the extensions. So the really cool thing about these extensions is that if you notice on the tip, they're not quite square like a regular extension. They've got kind of like that rounded tip to them, and that's basically so that I can do this. It can flex on you. It can move. It doesn't have to be straight up and down like a regular extension. So that'll give you a little bit more clearance, more reach. Those are really hard to get to places, so they'll come in really handy. And the cool thing about them is that they work both as a flex and as a regular extension. So I really recommend these. And I got this set from Tecton on Amazon, as well as everything I got was off of Amazon. And I'll leave a link down in the description, so if you want to get these tools to get your job started, get them out there. Prime, 2 days, free shipping, super cool. Now let me show you what you needed these regular flex sockets or universal sockets instead of the impact kind. Let me get one now so I can really show you the difference. Okay, so these two sockets are both the same size. They're both, I believe they're 14 millimeter. And as you can see, the impact is quite a bit taller and also fatter. So it's, yeah, fatter, bigger around. And if you look at your head, the regular socket is a little bit thinner as well. So all of this will give you a lot of extra clearance in there, which, trust me, you really need, because they barely fit as is. And I'll show you how I got them in, but they worked, which is all that mattered. So anyways, let's go to the turbo and really get working on it. The only other things you're gonna need are some metric sockets, and I believe that's it. But if I forget anything, I'll leave a whole list of all the tools you'll need down in the description, so check that out so that you know exactly what you need before you get started. But anyways, right now we're gonna jump back at the turbo and get that thing out, because it's been way too long. So anyways, let's go do that. If you saw my last video, you already saw that I got all the easy stuff off the turbo. The two top bolts, basically everything that's easy to get to and that you're not gonna have a problem getting to, it's already off. And if you do have any questions, go look at that video. I'll leave a link to it. But anyways, to get to the really hard nuts, which are gonna be the two bottom nuts on the flange, we're gonna be using this 15 millimeter flex socket that I showed you on one of the extensions. And basically what you gotta do to get it in there is you gotta, because it's gonna feel like it's not gonna fit, but trust me, it does. And again, we have our 15 mil universal socket, and what we're gonna do is you're gonna grab it, and you're just gonna place it on the nut. Just wiggle it on there, make sure that it really gets in there, and then after you're sure that it's solid on there, I tried putting it on with the extension, but for some reason it works a lot better if you put it on by hand. So after that, what you're gonna do is grab your socket and connect it. And then, like I said, mine are already broken loose, but if yours aren't, if your nuts aren't broken loose, you're gonna grab your breaker bar for this step, and you are just gonna go to town on it. As you can see, it's loose. So now we're just gonna pull it out, because you don't want to drive it out too much with this thing, because you might get it stuck on there and have to re-tighten it. But at this point, it's loose enough that we can grab a little bit more liquid wrench,
put it on there. Okay, so yeah, you grab your 15 mil stubby wrench, and you're just gonna work it out until it's finger tight, finger loose. And if you can hear that, it's coming out. You pretty much have it out. Oh, it's on the last thread. Yeah. Check that out, guys. And that is our last nut on the flange. So now what we have to do is go behind the turbo and get the other two pedestal bolts that are holding it in place. And that should be pretty fun too, but I think we can get it. You can see one from here. Right there is one of the other bolts that we gotta take out. And there's gonna be another one kind of like behind the turbo. But anyways, we'll get what we need to get those out and get that job done. Okay, so this is basically what I've got going on to get that passenger side back pedestal bolt. I've got a 1/4 inch 6-inch extension on a 3/8 drive ratchet. And then you probably can't see it, but down there we've got our universal socket attached to our 10 mil socket. And it's already broken loose, as you can see. So now we just gotta drive it all the way out. And that's one less and one to go. Okay guys, so we finally broke the last bolt loose. And it's really hard to show you exactly where I'm at. But if you can see, we've got our extension right there. And at the end of it, again, we have the universal joint with the 10 mil socket. And I'll show you when I get it out exactly where it's at. But the good thing is that it's broken loose. And I believe that that was the last bolt holding this thing in. So I'm gonna get this thing out. I'll probably throw you on the tripod so you can see me take it out. And this video will be it. It'll be a wrap. I can't believe that I got that bolt. It was a pain. I literally spent about an hour and a half getting these last two bolts out. Man, this thing, I don't know how we're gonna get it back in, but we got it out. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But anyways, let me throw you on the tripod and we'll get this thing out. So, I believe that I have it out far enough. It's really hard to check because you can't really get your hands down there to see where it's at. But we're gonna, it's definitely loose, but I don't think we have it out far enough. Come on, just a little more, just a little more. I can feel that it's pretty much out. Better be out. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, look at that, boys. Look at that. Woo! We cut this thing out. Oh. Woo! This thing's out. Okay guys, so we got this thing out and it was a pain, but we got it out, which is all that counts. And I want to show you a few things on the turbo that I was struggling with so you can see exactly what it was. And maybe you can be a little bit more prepared. And then after I show you everything on the turbo, I'm going to show you most of the tools that I used. But anyways, let's go to the turbo so you can see exactly what I was struggling with. Okay, so this is your turbo. And basically everything up front is super easy. You've got these two pedestal bolts. This EV flange is a little bit hard, but you can still get it out. Of course, your two top flange bolts, they're a little bit tight, but again, you can get them out pretty easy. It starts getting pretty gnarly when you get to the bottom flange bolts. And again, I already showed you how to get them out, but those are the two that are a little bit harder. And it gets harder too on these two back pedestal bolts. Especially this one right here, because you can't see it. You can hardly touch it. It's a pain. But we got it. So the easiest way that I found out to get to this bolt is to use about a 6-inch extension on your universal socket to your 10 mil. And you're kind of gonna go on the side of your turbo like this and behind and just feel for it, you know, kind of keep throwing it back there. Like I said, you can get it. It just takes a few tries. Like again, you're gonna use everything 1/4 inch, as small as you can possibly go. But other than that, it's out. So yeah, it's out. And so far, this has been the hardest job that I've done. And to be honest, I don't know if I would recommend just anybody to do this. I mean, maybe it's because I've never worked on anything like this, but it was very hard to get out. Most of these bolts are pretty much impossible to get to. So just be aware that this is not an easy job. It's pretty hard. But anyways, let's go look at all the tools that I've used, so that you have at least an idea of all the things you're gonna need to be able to get this thing out. So anyway. This is a Craftsman tool set. It's got metric, standard. It's got 1/2 inch, 3/8, and 1/4 inch drive. It's pretty handy, and it's got 6 and 12 point sockets. So it's pretty good to have one of these sets. Breaker bars, 1/2 inch breaker bars. I've got a long one and a medium one. A good assortment of extensions. Again, ratchets. And these are extremely important to have. Your flex sockets, universal sockets, also some universal joints, and inspection mirror to kind of get behind the back bolt and at least try to see where it's at. That's the only way you can look at it. Some liquid wrench, PB blaster, WD-40, any penetrating oil to try and break everything loose. And make sure you soak every bolt at least a couple times a day for 2 or 3 days before you start taking it off. It's really gonna help. Some wrenches, especially if they're the ratcheting kind, metric, from 8 mil to 15 mil. And that's about everything that I can think of. Okay guys, so that was pretty much it. Those were all the tools that I used. For the exception of, I forgot to mention some adapters to go from 3/8 to 1/4 inch, or 1/2 inch to 3/8 to 1/4 inch. But other than that was pretty much it. And I am gonna try and leave on the description a list of all the tools that I've used, along with some links, so that to make it a little bit easier on you guys to find most of these tools. And well, yeah, that's pretty much it. It was a hard job, and like I said, I wouldn't recommend to just anybody. Like, if you're just starting out and you haven't done anything, it is possible. You gotta have a lot of patience and make sure they have at least all these tools. And you can get it done, but it's gonna be hard. It took me a while, but we got it out, and that's all that matters. Now we can move on to the next thing. And talking about the next thing's gonna be getting the injectors out. And basically, once those are out, that's gonna be it for taking things off this truck. We're gonna start the next phase of this thing, which is gonna be putting everything back together and making this thing better than ever before. It should run better, faster, and maybe even a little bit more efficient than it has before. And I'm pretty excited about that. And I'm also really excited about the support that I've been getting lately. I've been getting a bunch of subscribers, a bunch of comments, a bunch of likes, and all that helps me a lot. Helps the channel a lot, helps us grow. So keep doing that. Keep hitting the like button, keep commenting, keep subscribing. I really appreciate you guys. We're about this close from 400, and it really means a lot to me. I mean, I know it's not a big milestone, it's not a big deal, but to me it is, and I really appreciate it. And let's get to 500. That's the next goal. And again, thank you so much. Subscribe, like, leave a comment, and see you for those injectors.